Hi everyone, welcome back to WHUTV. It's nice to see you. I hope you're keeping well and have had a lovely weekend enjoying that. I was going to say summer heat then, but it's still spring technically for another couple of weeks. This is a video that we've waited for a long time. I've waited so long for us to talk about this subject. It's been phenomenal. As you may or not already guessed, we're talking about that. West Ham's first cup final for 17 years, the first European Cup final for 47, where we travel to the Fortuna Arena, formerly known as the Eden Arena, in Prague for the Europa Conference League final against ACF Fiorentina this Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. kickoff in the UK, live on BT Sport 1, including their YouTube channel. So guys, we may be able to watch the game relatively in sync with each other for a change. As always, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website, and as you can see from the icon that's up here, there's also Admiral and Umbro track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts and t-shirts, so go check those out. Any purchases you make through the link in the description below, the commission that the channel would normally be getting, as I always do, I'll be sending directly on to the charity Iron Supporting Food Banks. They're based in the Newham area and they're helping those in the Newham area and the Essex County and further afield for that matter to help people put food on their tables in these very, very difficult times. So guys, go grab yourself a really nice retro shirt. You'll be saving yourself a few quid in comparison to the club shop, or you might want to buy a polo or sweatshirt, whatever you want. You'll be saving yourself a few quid in comparison to the club shops as well, and you'll be helping those the less fortunate than you and I. So we would normally start off by having a bit of a background on for Fiorentina, but what I want to start off with is the ticket allocation. It's the most ridiculous thing you and I have ever seen. Yeah, we should be there. All of us should be there. It's a 20,000 capacity stadium, which should be 8 or 9,000 capacity fans for each side. No, just over 5. Was it 5,250 if I remember correctly? It went down to 24 points, 4 points higher than I've been able to accumulate. Really angry about that, but it's not the club's fault. It's not David Sullivan's fault. Before anyone says anything in the comments, you know, UEFA and FIFA have really got to take a look at themselves, because at the end of the day, this is a cup final in Europe. You don't have a pony ticket allocation for a cup final in Europe. What's the Champions League getting? What was the Europa League final getting? Way more than this. Granted, this is the second season that this competition has been going, and therefore people are still trying to figure it all out. But no, I'm sorry, that's crap. It's terrible things. It's just ridiculous. I hope next season in the Conference League that there's going to be a bigger stadium. Not necessarily a more prestigious stadium, but a bigger stadium nonetheless. Now, the last time we played Fiorentina was back in 1975 in the Anglo-Italian Cup Winners' Cup, where we lost 2-0 on aggregate, but too far in the past for it to be relevant now, to be honest with you guys. But the more important thing, and relatively more up to date, is David Moyes has faced Fiorentina as a manager twice while at Everton in the UEFA Cup. In the last 16, they lost 2-0 away and lost 4-2 at home, which the game went to penalties, if I remember correctly from the research that I did. So it's a real shame that Moyes is in this position, quite frankly. I do genuinely think this is his last shot at silverware, and I hope this isn't going to be our last shot either, because as we know, we haven't been in a cup final since 2006. Ignore the Intertoto. Three teams won it in that competition. It's irrelevant from that point of view. And also, you know, forget the odd championship playoff final. It's not really a cup. At the end of the day, people are probably out there thinking right now, well, it's not a cup anyway. It's only the second season. Blah, bollocks. No, to me, it's a European Cup final, and therefore it's just as important as anything else. Now, Fiorentina finished their season on Friday night after beating Saluzzo 3-1, finishing 8th in Serie A after 38 games, winning 15, drawing 11, and losing 12 games, scoring 53 goals and conceding 43 on 56 points. Now, their away form in the Europa Conference League, they've won 6, drawn 1, and lost 1, scoring 21 goals and conceding just 6 goals. And out they've won all 5 of the last 5 away games in the Conference League. Now, their journey to this cup final is pretty decent. They beat FC Twente, they beat Hearts, they beat Istanbul, Basos, something or other, I can't pronounce it. They beat Rigas, they beat Sporting Braga, Sivasspor, I think you pronounce that, Lech Poznan, and Basel to reach the final. I know we've beaten Basel ourselves, so that's not much cop from that point of view, but they rank first in goals scored in the competition, 38 goals, and we're in second with 33. Now, their expected goals to be scored from a chance created, aka their XG, is 2.28, which is fourth in the table. Their actual goal scored, or their AG, is 0.95. We're not that far behind it. We're a little bit further down, but it's not too bad. Now, Fiorentina will be absolutely pumped for this game after losing 2-1 to Inter Milan in the Coppa Italia final 2 weeks ago by the time this game we're talking about kicks off. Now, Fiorentina's style of play is definitely controlling the game in the opposition's half, possession football, attacking through the middle, playing the offside trap, and attempting crosses often. Now, I've watched a couple. I've watched the Roma game, which we'll talk about in a second, and I've watched the Sulusu game on Friday. So I don't know them inside out, of course, only watching 2 games, but from what I've noticed, the website that myself and also guys from Three Hammers, apologies, but yeah, we both use the same website, and it does show that what that information on whoscored.com is very, very accurate. They are strong at defending, very strong at defending set pieces, as shown on Friday. Luke, of course, from the Three Hammers, just popped in my head. Apologies, mate, if you're watching, but that's the way things go sometimes. They are strong at creating chances through individual skill, attacking set pieces, creating scoring chances, shooting from direct free kicks, and aerial duels. But they are weak at defending against through balls and against skillful players. Now, manager Italiano likes to play attractive attacking football, and he said apparently in his pre-match match conference that they will use tactical fouls against us to gain the advantage. So, yeah, it's just that for me. And guys, let me know in the comments if you agree with this or not. For me, that sounds like that's bullshit desperation. That he's not confident going into this. And I can understand to a degree why you want to use that kind of mind games. Now, Italiano likes to use a 4-3-3. Against Sassuolo on Friday night, they used a 4-2-3-1, which, as we know, we can adapt it into a 4-3-3 as well, for that matter. But, for example, with their final home game against Roma, they won 2-1 after being 1-0 down at half-time. Now, one of the reasons why they went on to win their last home game of the season was because Roma played the Mourinho way of football. We're in the lead. Let's piss about with the ball a little bit. Let's just show, let's not try and lose it. And they ended up screwing it up massively. Now, for the Sulusu game, they were, I'd say, desperate for club cash, because they were wearing their next season's home shirt for that game. I know a lot of teams do it, and I'm glad that we're not, because we don't know what the games are yet. But I've got a funny feeling they will be wearing that purple shirt. It's not a shit, so it's actually quite nice. But I don't know why shit there, but I'm culminating my words again. I do think they will be wearing that purple home shirt for next season. We, as we know, are wearing that awful third away kit. We have better luck in the black strip. That's all I'm saying. Now, in terms of players to look out for, Cabral is their highest goal scorer in the competition in all games. He scored 6 goals in the Conference League. Other players to look out for, Martinez, very, very good at aerial duels, along with Milenkovic and Gonzalez. They're all high up in the aerial duels one, but Martinez can give the ball away. He really, really can. Jovic, the Serbian centre forward that we all know as well. Akone, has a lethal left foot on him. He's a right-hand winger, stroke centre forward, stroke attacker. We genuinely need to keep an eye out for him. Dodo's very good at defending as well. He did some brilliant clearances against Soluso. Julio Ranieri, Ranieri is a bit of a hothead in midfield. Was booked for a ridiculous challenge after the ball had gone out of play. Just absolutely squared up to whoever the Sassuolo player was. But yeah, it's just I think we can cause some damage around here. From that point of view, if we can get Ranieri agitated, he could be booked. And I know it's not going to be that much advantageous on him because he's not going to miss any of the matches after this. But I think if we can agitate him, I think we've got a good chance of getting through that midfield. I really think we do. Now, Fiorentina's injuries is only really one, from what I can see. Goalkeeper Sirigu, who is out with an Achilles tendon rupture. So, backup goalie, 24-year-old Ciro Faloni, I think you pronounced that, will be in the starting 11. I guarantee it. Centre forward Kume is suspended for this game after being booked against Sassuolo, as far as I can understand it. So that's Fiorentina, and as I say, guys, I kind of intimated at the start of the video, this is massive. This is bigger than West Ham from our point of view in terms of the song we all like to sing. As sarcastic as that can be sometimes when we start singing it. But yeah, it's a huge game. Guys, we will be doing the watch along, so make sure you're with us from 7:45 on Wednesday night. I would do it earlier, but I won't get back from work in time to do an earlier broadcast. So make sure you've subscribed and hit the like button if you've enjoyed this. As always, put your comments in the comments section below. And if you are going to subscribe, we are literally 16 away from 2,300 people. So it's not that difficult, guys. But if you are going to subscribe, please do hit that notification bell and make sure you set the settings to all. Now, turning to West Ham, there's quite a few controversial conversations we could be having on this. In the meantime, before we do get onto that, I do want to say, obviously, as you guys may have been aware, the team have been out in Portugal doing some warm weather training for a few days earlier this week. So it was good from that point of view, get some morale back together. Now, one thing I've noticed when I was doing some research for this video, and I spoke to James Feather at E20 TV when I did this broadcast with him on Monday afternoon, or late Monday evening, I should say. We could be, whatever happens in this final, if we win it or if we lose it or whatever, there is a very good chance we could still be playing European football next season because we topped the fair play table in the Premier League. So either way, we could still be playing in Europe. I'd love us to be able to win the competition like everybody else is thinking out there, and ultimately go through to the skip through the qualifiers if I remember correctly, and then get into the first stage. But we were the least booked team in the Premier League by a little bit of a distance. The second least booked team was Man City. So from that point of view, either, if we go through to the Europa Conference League qualifiers, I think it will, because I know when we did it under Sam Allardyce, we went through the Europa League. We went through the Europa League qualifiers, but the competition didn't exist in this place. So I think in this instance, we'll probably get through to the Conference League. We'll find out anyway. But what I do want to talk to you guys about, before we talk about the starting 11, and after the starting 11, we're going to go through some animation to discuss why exactly I do feel we need to be doing the starting 11 and the formation that you're about to see. I know Mikel Antonio has come under a lot of criticism over the last few days for what he said on the recent podcast, the recent podcast that was available. What was it? I can't remember who it was, but in my personal opinion, Antonio has said nothing wrong. He's complimented Scamacca with his comments, massively complimented him, saying that he's a quality player. When the ball gets to him, he sticks with it and he can pass and all the rest of it. And he said that he's not a David Moyes style player. He's struggling under him. He's not the fighter that the Premier League needs. He's not wrong in any shape or form. I agree that the timing is poor. You save that for a book. 100% agreed. But there's no morale downer on this whatsoever in him doing this type of content. There really isn't. I really don't see the issue behind it. I genuinely don't. It's not like he's saying, Scamacca's useless, he can't pass the ball, blah, 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 blah. He's not criticising anybody else. He's being truthful, and he's saying what you and I a lot have been saying. So I do find, yes, I agree with it's the timing alone. That's it. The timing of that podcast. Probably what was happening was thinking that when that podcast was due to be released, they probably thought, okay, the West Ham season is going to be over, yada, 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 right? Possibly that. But I do think it's very, very hypocritical of the fan base to criticise Michail Antonio for saying what we've all been saying since pretty much, November, December. Even when David Moyes was asked about the question, he said, we all love, we all like Scamacca. He's a brilliant player, but now isn't the time to talk about Antonio. Absolutely right. It's got nothing to do with this game whatsoever. Nothing at all. But because I haven't made any content for a week, I've put this in there. Because it's to be honest with you guys, it's been so nice to just be able to relax for 7 days, knowing we've had no West Ham stress. Of course, there's West Ham stress coming out. There's false stories about Declan Rice being agreed with Bayern Munich. It's bullshit. It really, really is bad. I don't know why on earth people are saying this. It's very, very obvious that our season isn't over, and therefore no ideas are going to be done in any shape or form. Same with Man City for that matter. Man United season's obviously over with now, but even so, after Man City win or lose the Champions League final, I mean, fair play to Man City for doing it. By the way, they've really, really tried, and they've gone all the way through. It's brilliant. Haaland's the catalyst for it, 100%. But, yeah, just because we're expecting it doesn't mean it's going to happen. It probably will in a few weeks' time, but there's been no official bid from Man City. There's been no official bid from Man United. There's been no official bid from Bayern Munich. They are saying, we are interested. We want to find out a few bits and pieces about him, of course, but there's nothing official, so we've got nothing to worry about from that point of view. But anyway, guys, let's get back onto this content now, talking about the final. I'm buzzing for this, and I'm sure you guys are as well. And to try and figure out the starting 11, 9 out of the 11 players pick themselves. They massively pick themselves. There's an argument for both sides to have Benrahma out on the left-hand side. He's been the golden child of the last few games in terms of the Europa Conference League. He really, really has been. Obviously scoring that last-minute goal that cemented us getting into the final, even though we were through the final beforehand. Scoring the goal at the other week against Leicester as well, for that matter. He's proving to David Moyes he can do it. But the thing is that as much as I love him, he's not a winger for me. He should be in the midfield centrally, and the goalkeeping decision, it's very, very difficult as well to discuss. There's going to be a lot of people that want Fabianski in there. Understandable. He is a little bit more secure than Areola, but at the same point, Areola has done every single cup game. It would be very, very harsh to drop him for Fabianski. So I'm sure people who are out there are thinking exactly the same. And if you are, let me know in the comment section. Or if you're not, let me know in your comment section. But this is the starting 11 that I think, what I would like to see. I don't think, there's a very good chance that David Moyes is going to go 80 to 90% of this. But I do think this is the starting 11 that we should be putting out.
Areola in goal, with a back three of Kehrer, Zouma and Aguerd. Soufal and Creswell as the wing-backs, with Rice, Paquetá and Benrahma in midfield, supporting Bowen and Antonio up front.
Right, so you've seen my starting 11, and now let's go into why. Okay, so this is what used to be available for the Patreons. I'm very, very close to coming up and redoing the Patreon again. But yeah, as I say, for me, Areola starts in goal 100%, because at the end of the day, he's started them all. He really has. I've got Aguerd, Zouma and Kehrer as the back three. Creswell and Soufal as the wing-backs, with Benrahma, Paquetá and Rice in midfield, with Antonio and Bowen up front. Now, the reason why we can do this is this formation and this squad, we can have multiple formations, okay? Some of it is going to be very, very, experimental. But I want to see David Moyes do stuff that people have never figured out before. For example, we could easily go in the 4-4-2, have Kehrer over at the right back position, and we have Aguerd there like that, and Creswell sitting deep as the left-hand side, and we have Benrahma over there, and we have Soufal over there, we have Rice back there, or Paquetá back there, or that way. Do you know what I mean? We could have it like that. We generally could. Or because obviously we know what Italian teams are like. They are very, very deep and thick in midfield. We could have Bowen down there with Paquetá like that, right? We could have Paquetá like that. Actually, to be fair, we could probably have something along that sort of line. So going more sort of like a 4-3-2-1 formation. Do that sort of thing. Don't know why it's selecting it like that, but anyway, there we go. You could have it like that, or we could have it like potentially like that. We could have it like that. It's just honest, it's there are so many options we can have with this side, and that's why I absolutely love that we've got the options, but I do genuinely think it's going to be something very similar to this. I really do. It's just it screams it to me. It genuinely does. We could even have Bowen behind him like that, being a supportive number 10. Bowen's very capable of doing it. He really could. There are so many rotations and so many options we can do for this. It's going to be absolutely unreal. But guys, thank you very, very much for your time. As I say, put your comments in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on this. It's been phenomenal talking to you for this season. We will be continuing going into next season. As I said, we will be doing the watch along as well for that matter. Let me just bring this back to normal. There we go. Yeah, so we will be doing the watch along as normal. It's going to be broadcast on the YouTube channel, which I'm going to be watching. So I'm hoping you guys, even though there's still going to be about a 5 or 6 second delay between what I say and when it comes out on YouTube, but I hope you guys are going to be able to join us for that. It's a monumental game for West Ham in every shape and form. I really do hope to see you. If not, whatever you're going to be doing for the game, enjoy it and have a great start to the week. And hopefully on Thursday morning, we will be on cloud 9 is an understatement, quite frankly. But yeah, guys, in the meantime, look after yourselves, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Thank you very much for your support all season, and long may that continue. All the best now. Take care.